Start the spring season off right with a new pair of Tecovas Western boots. Handcrafted and over 200 steps from genuine leather, they're built to last and feel broken in the moment you put them on. From cowhide to exotic leathers, Tecovas blends timeless style with all-day comfort. Pair them with premium denim, Western shirts, and accessories for an effortless, polished look. Shop quality Western goods in-store or online at tecovas.com.
Hi, Jade. How are you?
Hey, I'm doing so good. How are you?
Doing fantastic. It is an absolute pleasure to talk to you. I have followed your career for a while, so this is exciting for me.
Thank you.
You're welcome. So what drew you to Scared to Death and made you want to be part of this project?
I have always loved horror, so I think like that it's just a dream anytime I get to be a part of something that is horror related, because when I'm sitting on my couch and I'm choosing a movie to watch, 9 times out of 10 it's going to be a horror movie. So that within itself was really cool. I also loved my character and how she felt, like the girl next door, stoner pizza joint girl. I've said before, she feels like the female Fred from Scooby-Doo, and I love to kind of play that carefree character who added a little bit of comedic relief just being herself. So it was really fun.
I love that comparison. That is, I didn't put that together, but that's so on point for your character.
Right.
You play Champ in the movie. What can you tell us about how she reacts to everything without giving away too much of the film?
Right. So she feels like she is very in it because she thinks, she's partaking in the scare by facilitating it. So I think there's a little bit of unawareness of the reality of the situation that she brings to the table. And especially with, her love of smoking some weed, I think she questions everything because she doesn't know if it's real or if it's what she's having, for lunch. So I think it was really fun to play her because she, she's a little unaware, but she's mischievous at the same time. So it was fun because I feel like there's parts of me in real life that I can identify with her or attach to the character that made it feel real for me.
That's so much fun. I love when you can kind of add a little bit of yourself to the characters. I think it helps that readability of the characters a lot.
100%. You want it to feel genuine and natural for the audience. And the best way for me to do that is to find something in a character that I relate to or can attach to.
Right. So horror and comedy both rely heavily on timing. Did your dance background help you when approaching that rhythm on set?
I think it always does, just because it helps me create almost like a dance within the movement of my character, especially with Champ. She's very in her body, very, connected, flowy, carefree. And there's more ways to show that in your body movement than just in how you're acting. And, people like that are a little more comfortable, a little more wavy. So it really helped me to attach that to her.
Definitely. Yeah, I think, especially the expression in horror as well. There's so much expression and dance that you can do with your face to help, tell the story. And I think that probably helped a lot in this as well.
Oh, it 100% did. I always said that my favorite thing about dance was the storytelling and was making people feel something. And especially with dance, it can be over dramatized. And especially because you don't have words, you really have to emulate those feelings or those emotions through your body and through your facial movements. And I've always loved performing and loved connecting within dance with the camera and stuff. So I think that really helped me in this as well, to kind of feel the emotions through my body and then express it through my expressions.
Yeah. So what would Jade do to survive in a haunted orphanage?
Jade would be a lot like Champ, and she wouldn't have stayed in the first place. Second, I would think I would have been kind of how BJ was. I would have taken the more physical stance, like, fight me. I think I would just really go into full attack mode, but I'd also be careful. I would be a little calculated about it, but I'd be ready to throw some hands, if that helps.
If it helps. Does it help when they're not like
real?
physical? Yeah.
done.
Who knows? Would you ever perform a real seance?
I would not, because I do think that there's some reality to it, and I'm not trying to invite that into my life. I also feel like I have like had weird things happen in my life that I try to, you know, write off as something. There has to have been, the light switch must have flipped or something on its own. So I think I just stay away from it, just because I don't really want to have to deal with the aftermath.
That is a completely fair stance. I am with you. That is not something I would want to do. I fully believe there's paranormal things.
Yeah, you don't need that.
Why invite that in? Why open the door for it?
Exactly. They stay on the other side. Go to someone else.
Exactly. We've got to work along a lot of incredible actors in your career, like Henry Cavill, Ben Affleck, Neo, Eric Dane, Chad Michael Murray. What was it like working with horror icons Bill Moseley and Lin Shaye?
Well, I was already fans of them before. So, like I said, I've loved horror movies. So I've already been studying their work, and especially I feel like Bill is more that indie type of vibe, and then Lynn was that, I got to see her in theaters a lot, and I got to see her in so many different ways, and I feel like it was so cool to see them play characters that I haven't seen them play. That was the coolest part about it, is I felt like I was getting an acting lesson, seeing how they approach something completely different to what we know them from. And the level of professionalism they bring, the level of commitment and work behind the scenes that you can feel when they're on set, they're so talented. And I've said it already before, but when you meet somebody you're a fan of and then they're actually kind and nice, it just makes it that much better. And both of them were such good human beings, and it makes you have hope for humanity, hope for talented people, and realize that, you don't always have to sacrifice who you are to be an amazing person at your craft. They're amazing at what they do, and they really have built that following because of their talent level. And I really think that also translates to who they are off screen. I think that's why they have such a fandom behind them, is because you feel that they're genuine. And working with them, it's the biggest acting lesson that you can have, being on set with somebody like that, somebody like Lynn or Bill, because you're learning from them in the moment, but you also have to rise to the occasion as well, because you can't let them down. They're bringing everything to the table, and you have to match that. And they're so fearless with their approach, so comfortable with their approach, and that inspired me to try to do the same.
I love that. I agree. I love when you meet somebody that you really do admire, especially on screen, because there's horror stories from everybody about so many people. So when you meet someone and they're just so nice and genuine, that's such an incredible feeling.
Oh yeah, and it takes the nerves off. You feel like you could be yourself, and there's not going to be any judgment. And I think that created a really good environment to create a movie.
Yeah. Talking to most of the cast, that's what everyone said, is how just incredibly comfortable it was, like filming just a fun thing you were doing with a group of friends you knew forever.
Exactly.
And I love that, and I think that that's what helps make this movie so incredible, and that makes it feel so genuine, like you really are watching a video a bunch of friends made, because y'all had that on set. So do you have a favorite set memory?
I would say my favorite memory was we all went to an escape room, and it was like a haunted hotel, and they had an escape room in there, and we all just hung out and tried to get into the character, but also get to know each other outside of that. And I think that we built friendships, which was so cool, because sometimes you work with somebody and then that's it, there's not much after that. So it was really nice to meet people that are in your same industry, but also around your same age, your same demographic, of maybe we'll work together again soon. And like you said, I think it creates a flow when you watch the actual scene, even though we're different than our characters, and there's aspects to us that we're adding for the movie. It still feels real, and it still feels connected, and our characters might not have that same friendship in the show, but that comfortability just translates, I think.
Yeah, the chemistry can easily be seen and felt while you're watching it.
Oh, good. Yay.
So looking back now, like, do you have any advice that you would give to young Jade and others as they start their dance or their acting journeys?
I would say to not question yourself. I think a lot of times there's, especially with having social media at our fingertips, we compare ourselves a lot to people because we're seeing their highlights of all their life, not realizing that there's so much more that goes on. And especially with, dancing and acting, it's easy to see other people's progress or see other people's accomplishments and wonder why you're not at the same place and things like that. So I would just say keep going, be confident, and kind of keep that childlike mindset, because as you get older, there's calluses that you form. So I would just say to be as childlike, to have as much fun with it as possible, to keep the optimism. The more positive you are, the more positive the outcome. It might not come exactly from the people or the experiences that you expected, but I always say when you put good out there, it comes back tenfold. So I would just say to keep on it, to keep hopeful, to keep passionate, but also to put in that work while remaining happy and positive about it.
I love that. That's phenomenal advice. What is a role of yours that challenged you the most?
I would say the role that challenged me the most would probably be Odalie in Step Up, because there's aspects of her that I don't relate to, that I would probably not be friends with. So trying to understand where she was coming from sometimes, and try to find the humanity in her. And she also, takes a lot of crazy turns, especially in the last season of that show. She goes off the rails, and I think that was a challenge for me to make it feel authentic and real. And especially because the way that the first two seasons were set up, it's not an outcome that you ever expected for my character. So I think that was a challenge, trying to connect the dots of season 2 to season 3 and who she's becoming, and the way that she's changed. So I think that was a little bit of the most push for me, where many of my other characters, there's aspects of it that I'm like, I would love to do this, I would totally choose that. So I had to understand her in moments that I guess I would probably be on the opposite side of the coin with.
Yeah. Yeah, that show really did do a good job with the twist of like how it kept you on your toes. You'd think you would know where it was going, but that was not at all where it was going.
It never did.
Never went where you thought it was going. I love things like that though, because I write. And so the moment I start watching something, a lot of the times I do that where I'm automatically trying to figure out where it's gonna go. And like I try to figure out the end as it's beginning.
You want to know the plot from the jump.
Yes. And a lot of the times I'm spot on.
Yeah.
You know it. It's been there, it's tried and true. So I love when they're like, nope, surprise.
Yeah, you thought you loved them? Oh, sorry.
Well, too bad.
A little Game of Thrones to it, where all your favorite people just die.
Oh, I know. It's like, nope, you don't get to have the normal. Yeah. We're gonna throw you a curveball.
It keeps the audience on their toes. I think it's refreshing sometimes.
It is, and it keeps them watching, because then like you're like, oh no, they did that. What's next?
Right.
And it keeps you engaged.
Exactly. I agree.
What would you say your favorite horror movie of all time is?
I would say my favorite horror movie of all time, because it really scared me, was the first Conjuring. I remember seeing that in theaters, being like, I have never seen a scary movie like this where I am actually terrified. I like to be scared, but it takes a lot to really scare me, because you can justify certain things, or that wouldn't really happen, so I can't really be afraid of that. And I think that movie specifically really did scare me, and I felt like there was an evil in that movie, and I liked how it was portrayed.
Yeah, that's such a good one. If you could take any role from any actor and have your dream role, what role would you choose?
Okay, so it would be either Tomb Raider, Lara Croft, And I would want Angelina's version, even though I do feel like the latest version, she really committed to the physicality of it, which I really appreciated. Or Wonder Woman, because those are two movies that I would love to do. I've always wanted to be, doing my own stunts and doing all of that. So that is where I would like my career to go, is to be kicking some ass on screen and in real life.
There you go. Those would be some incredible roles for you.
Oh, it'd be so cool.
That would
Putting
be
it
awesome.
out there.
Yeah. I mean, you have the Zack Snyder connection already, so, maybe.
Yeah, maybe.
Come on, Zack.
Remember this girl from back in the day.
Right. What is the last song you had on repeat?
Oh, I think the last song I've had on repeat, it's a French song and it's called Chocolate, but it's Chocolat. And I like really R&B kind of Afro-infused songs. And I think there's something beautiful about it being in a language that you don't understand, but it still provokes emotion from you. So I'd say that one's been on repeat. I also really like the new Tyla song that came out with Zara Larsson. It's got a good little vibe, good beat to it. It's my style of dance. So those are the two that I would say.
Love that. I'll have to check out the other one.
Yes.
Who in the cast is most likely to survive in a real life horror situation?
In real life?
Yeah.
I feel like Victoria would totally survive. She's smart, she's cunning, she's fearless. She's got sass to her, but she's super sweet. So I feel like she'd be able to assess the situation and hopefully get out of it.
Yeah. Talking to her, I can see that.
Right? She's quick on her feet. I feel like she would be ready. If not, I would say myself, because I watch so many horror things and I really do believe in it. I feel like I would have seen the signs.
Yeah.
Before.
I love it.
Yeah.
Well, I could talk to you for hours, but it seems we have time for one more question. Okay. So I'm going to ask you the question I've asked everyone, and that is, how would you describe Scared to Death in just 3 words?
I would say surprising. I would say classic. And I would also say unique. Because it's classically unique, but it has its own twist, and it keeps you on your toes.
I love that. I think those are perfect words to describe it. Thank you so much for coming and talking to me. I appreciate it. Thank you. Everybody, go check out Scared to Death, which as of yesterday is streaming on VOD.
Ryan Reynolds here from Mint Mobile with a message for everyone paying big wireless way too much. Please, for the love of everything good in this world, stop. With Mint, you can get premium wireless for just $15 a month. Of course, if you enjoy overpaying, no judgments, but that's weird. Okay, one judgment. Anyway, give it a try at mintmobile.com/switch.
Upfront payment of $45 for 3-month plan, equivalent to $15 per month required. Intro rate first 3 months only, then full price plan options available. Taxes and fees extra. See full terms at mintmobile.com.